Hi 2R, we're doing this in daylight this week. Just doing another video to let you know kind of where we're going. It's Thursday when I'm recording this, so you might have a little bit more than what I'm saying in this video. A couple of things I haven't ironed out perfectly just yet. But we are going to continue in chapter 21 this week, which is called The Height of Imperialism. If you're depending on when you're watching this, if you're watching it on Monday, you have section 1 questions due, which is called Colonial Rule in Southeast Asia. There's some U.S. actions talked about in there, also Great Britain and France. It gives you the difference between indirect and direct rule as well. So those questions are due on Monday. And then we are only going to do section 2 and 3 from chapter 21. Section 4 talks about Latin America. We're going to skip that section. So pay attention to the email. I'll tell you when the due dates are, and you can see that in IC and Teams as well. Section 2 is over empire building in Africa. When we think about imperialism in the 19th century, we probably think about Africa. If you remember from 4L, we did talk about imperialism amongst the European powers and also America. If you remember, I need to find a map to upload to show you that kind of patchwork quilt idea of Africa with all the nations represented by different colors, and then the entire continent of Africa having different colors. That's why it's called the patchwork quilt. So in that section 2 on Africa, it'll talk again about British, French actions in North Africa, talk about the Suez Canal, which the British have rights to, Central Africa with Belgium, and then East Africa. You need to keep in mind the subjugation of the African people by the Europeans. Imperialism happens similar to when we talk about exploration. It happens to open up new markets for European goods and products, and to get the resources to make those goods and products. There's the glory aspect of it, that the more land that you control, it feeds that sense of nationalism, and there's also the religious aspect of Christianizing these people. So there's a social Darwinism aspect to it that's in play. You read about social Darwinism, I think, this past week. Section 3 talks about Britain and India, and the British originally, when they controlled India, it was originally controlled through the East India Company, the British East India Company. There's a rebellion against the British, which is known as the Sepoy Rebellion or the Sepoy Mutiny, or the First Indian War of Independence. And then the British come in and control through direct rule. In both Africa and India, there are nationalist movements that spring up for the push for independence. But that independence is not achieved, if we're talking about India, until the 1940s. And those African nations, a lot of them don't achieve independence until 1960 or so. So it's post-World War II that these nations do get their independence from these European colonizers, because, if we're talking about the British, the British didn't have the resources to have the colonies any longer post-World War II. So that's where we're going this week. Our audio chat on Wednesday, I believe I'm going to give you a document about attacking imperialism. I'm also looking at giving you a DBQ. Yay, DBQs, they're back. I'm looking at giving you a DBQ over imperialism as well, so that might be why you might have a little bit less this week as far as sections to read from the text. After imperialism is World War I. My favorite part of the year comes at the very end. Keep reaching out to me if you have questions. Check IC and Teams for due dates, for attachments. Reach out, let me know what you need. And again, I miss you guys. Stay healthy, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday. Take care.